I frickin' love these boots. These are the Crispi Altitude GTX, and these are Crispi's boots that fall somewhere between a lightweight boot and a midweight boot. These would be slightly stiffer and heavier than something like the Crispi Laponia. Each one of these boots weighs 1 pound 8 ounces and is a 2.5 on the flex scale, which is a scale from 1 to 5, so it's right in the middle. It's just flexible enough to be comfy for long days of use and stiff enough to get you through some pretty rugged terrain. I think some comparable boots to the Crispi Altitudes would be something like the Hanwag Alverstone or the Crispi Laponia. The Crispi Laponia is a 2 flex and weighs 1 pound 5 ounces, whereas the Hanwag Alverstone, I'm not sure the flex rating on that one, but it comes in at 1 pound 10 ounces per boot. These boots have a ton of ankle support, being 8 inches high, and they also have what Crispi calls the ABSS, or the ankle bone support system, which is built into the boot here. And I can say after some use on some pretty dang rugged terrain that the ankle support in these boots is awesome. The Altitudes also have a Vibram outsole with pretty deep, aggressive lugs, so if you're on some gnarly terrain, you shouldn't have too much of a problem slipping and sliding. Same goes with mud. It should clear mud fairly well, and you shouldn't be slipping all over the place. These boots are non-insulated. They're going to be best for spring, summer, and probably even get you into late fall. They do have a Gore-Tex lining, so they are waterproof. But like any synthetic waterproof material that isn't made of just rubber, after a while they will wet out. I have had these boots on a rainy Pacific Northwest blacktail hunt, and my feet stayed dry for about the first whole day, and after an entire day of being in the rain and stomping through wet brush and puddles, they eventually will wet out, but you can't really blame the boot for that. Any synthetic material is eventually going to wet out. They are a full-on boot, so they're not going to dry out as quick as something like a tennis shoe, but they don't dry out any slower than any other boot I've ever used. Crispi designed these Altitudes with a combination of leather and synthetic materials, so it does have a really nice bit of durability, as well as the synthetic materials taking some of the weight off the boot. It also has a PU coated leather rand that runs around the entirety of the boot that should help protect it from any rocks or breakdown. This will be my second season wearing this boot, so they went with me all last season, and I've already done some adventures with these this year. I don't have any loose stitching or loose threads, and nothing is coming apart. The boots have held up exceptionally well for the abuse that I have doled out to them. This boot has an anatomical lacing system that starts all the way down at the toes and works all the way up onto your shin bone. This is actually one of the only boots I've ever had that I can really crank down on the laces and not have any pain or discomfort in my foot. I think one thing that helps with that is that it has a really nice, soft, thick tongue that is gusseted to help keep rocks and debris out. The Altitudes have a very technical fit to them with a thinner sole and thinner heel. I know some people don't like that, but I have really enjoyed it. So your foot almost sticks out slightly farther than the outsole, and the outsole has a really nice sharp edge. So what that does is allow you to really dig in when you're side hilling on more aggressive terrain. Now keep in mind, this is just my experience. My foot shape in the shape of these boots just happens to fit fantastic. You might have a slightly different experience than me, and that's okay. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, so just find a boot that fits you fantastic. I am tall and thin and have kind of long, thin feet, and these boots have absolutely fit my feet perfectly. The heel cup does an excellent job, along with the lacing system, of absolutely just locking my foot down in here, and my toes have plenty of room up in this toe box to wiggle around. When I'm going downhill, my toes do not jam into the front of the boot. That's a lot to do with getting the appropriate size as well. The insoles do come out of the boots. They are removable, so if you wanted to get your own custom insoles, you could certainly do so. This is one of my only gripes with the boot. We'll get to that in just a minute. I've used the Crispi Altitudes in snow. I've used these boots in rain, in high mountain arid conditions, on backcountry trout fishing expeditions, and some just all around gnarly high elevation terrain. I have had no blisters or issues with the boots themselves. They have plenty of oomph to get you up some of the gnarliest stuff, plenty of grip, lots of support. These are just an absolutely fantastic boot. However, it's not all sunshine and roses. I do have a couple gripes about these boots. So after many miles of walking on flat, hard trails, or going downhill for long periods of time, the front balls of my feet will start to hurt. Now my right leg is longer than my left leg, and my right foot is like a size bigger than my left foot. I try and make up for that by buying bigger boots, and this pain after walking many, many miles happens no matter what shoe I'm wearing, whether it's trail running shoes or boots. So I don't know if I can actually blame the altitudes or if it's just my anatomical messed upness, but that has been an issue. Now, segueing right into that with the removable insole, something that I think even the high-end boot companies like Crispi's neglect is an insole. The midsole in here, I'm not going to be able to show you guys real well, but it's hard. It's a very hard midsole in there. To battle that, they have provided a small insole that does have some cushioning and some shape and support to it. What I wish more or all boot companies would do is add a little bit more cushion for comfort on those long trail miles when you're hiking into a spot, because oftentimes you're going to do 3-6 miles or something before you get to the point where you're going to go off trail up a ridge. Boot companies would just give you maybe a little bit more cushion here. Maybe for me anyway, I might avoid some of that pain in the front of my foot. When I'm off trail and doing weird side hilling and uphilling and stepping on rocks, my feet are actually more comfortable in these boots than they are when I am just walking for miles on a flat trail. Despite the relative lightweight and the amount of synthetic material that these boots do have, they are still an aggressive mountain boot. So if you're out in the summertime backpacking, scouting for mule deer on some crazy trout expedition, your feet are still going to get super hot and sweaty in these boots. So they do advertise these as having some breathability, but with all the leather around them and, like I said, being big aggressive mountain boots, your feet are just going to get hot and sweaty. That's just how it is. I'll put a link down in the description box down below if you want to go check a pair of these out. They do come in regular and wide sizes. Ooh, mosquito. So yeah, link in the description if you want to go check these out. So if you're into backcountry hunting, backcountry trout fishing, or just crazy backcountry backpacking expeditions on some more gnarly rugged terrain, I think the Crispi Altitude GTX are going to be a great boot all the way from spring through late fall. If you own a pair of Crispis, let me know what you think down in the comments below. So far, I really love these boots, but I always am into hearing other people's opinions about Crispis or any boots you might have an opinion about. So thanks for watching along, everybody. We will catch you on the next adventure.